Hello. I have read many books this year, and my favourite so far is this one. It's called Fresh Water for the Flowers, and it is by Valerie Perrin. I read it in French, but I'm sure the English one is literally the same. The first half of this video is going to be for people who haven't read it yet. The second half of the video is for people who have read it and are hopefully just as distraught as me that it's over. Very brief synopsis, because you can get that online and it's also at the back of the book. We have a woman, Violet. She's the main character. We follow her life. We don't really find out that much about her childhood, just that it's not that great and she didn't have a strong family foundation. She's 19, 20. She meets a man. They get married very quickly. I will leave this for the no spoilers bit. They have a child that I will talk about more in the no spoilers bit. And the start of the book, she's working in one job and then they move to doing another job. And the book follows her life from meeting this guy to she's in her second job and a lot has changed, and then you're left hopeful. So Violet, main character, she has the worst life I've ever read about, because it's so plausible. You know, she didn't lose all her limbs in war and all of her family is decimated, but it's so terrible because it's exactly the sort of situation that I'm sure so many women will have found themselves in. I think I remember the author saying in an interview that she had based Violet on all the women that she knew, which makes her so real. I wanted to get to know her, I wanted to have a coffee with her, but I also felt that she was me and so many of the women that I know in my life. Wait, I'm almost done. The first job she works at with her husband, where they have their kid, is at a train station, and she is in charge of opening and closing the barrier for the trains going through every day, multiple times a day. I think it's like 6-7 times a day at really awkward times. So she can't really go on holiday, she can't really do anything, she has to like jot her life around the barrier opening. It'll be like the barrier opens at 4 AM, so she's got full till 7:30 AM to do something, and then so on and so forth. Which is kind of the dream job for someone like me, I'm not gonna lie to you. I love monotony, I love doing the same thing every single day. I didn't even know that was a job. I would love that job. The second job she goes to, I now would also love, because she's really sold it to me. After a few years, they move to working in a cemetery where she also gets given like a home in the cemetery, and she just has to maintain it, make sure that everything's clean, make sure that all the burials, cremations, this, that, the other go according to plan. And she makes both of these jobs so beautiful, especially the one at the cemetery. You know, she goes above and beyond. She creates a little garden, sells the flowers that she grows to people that come in and are visiting the graves. She like hand writes all of the speeches that are given at every funeral. She decorates her house beautifully and she wears these beautiful clothes. Violet is the queen of the little things. She's like a magpie. She just kind of goes through life and takes all these tiny little insignificant things and makes them really, really valuable. And when you're reading it, you think, fuck, I've never thought about how much having a garden is a beautiful thing, and growing your own vegetables and cooking them. I hate cooking. She's kind of changed that for me. I might give it a go. When I get a garden, I'm going to do some serious tomato growing. Just before I move on to the spoilers, if you haven't read it and you are looking for something to read it, you will cry and it will stay with you for a very, very long time. It will change the way that you look at little things in your life. I think that's quite nice from a book, because if I left a book thinking, I'd love to have a Ferrari, that is quite a complicated new dream to fulfill, whereas this makes you ever so grateful for everything that you've got and pay more attention to all of the little things to make what you've got even more beautiful. Okay, now for the people who've read it. I hate her husband. He might be the worst man on earth, and I kind of hated her at first for letting him treat her that way, but it's so accurate because every woman I know knows a man that is maybe not as bad as him, maybe worse, but that is somewhat like Philippe. And if Violet is a culmination of all of the women that the author knew, I wonder if Philippe is not a mismatch of all of the stories of the terrible men that she's heard from all of the women that she knows. Secondly, I didn't actually cry when her daughter died, but I feel like I felt more grief than I've ever felt at any character dying. I don't think I was particularly attached to her daughter. She is just a little girl, but because she's just a little girl, she is me, and she is every other little girl in the world, and when she dies, I felt so much that I was Violet at times when I was reading this, that I was going through the grief with her as well as her. I hate Philippe's parents. They're there to explain why he's the way he is, but he's the worst. His parents are the worst. I feel so terribly sorry. I can't remember their names, but you know the woman that he sleeps with and like assaults against the tree, who then takes her own life. Felt so sorry for her because it's written in a way that you think, oh, she's a bit angry. She's clearly less educated than Philippe. She's clearly less empathetic, less kind, less gentle than Violet. But then there's two sides to her. There's the way that she reacts when she's confronted, which is like immediate guard up. And then there's the way that she thinks back to what happened to all those little girls on the holiday, and the fact that she kills herself is just devastating. And her husband, I think, also treated her terribly, but somehow I also felt quite empathetic towards him because I felt like he really understood her and he knew so much more about what had happened to her with Philippe than I'd thought. Also, it was quite a predictable ending, but it worked so perfectly. Violet has read the diary of the guy's mum. Sorry, I'm literally so terrible with names. But you know, so the guy that she ends up with at the end, and who is the son of the woman who had that torrid love affair with the lawyer, and she ran like a rose shop. Her. It's so predictable, but it's so beautiful because you've just read the diary of what his mum went through. She had the most beautiful love story that never got to live a life in it. It was always on the sidelines, it was always very secretive, it was always behind her husband's back. And they had that argument, she tells him to leave, he dies, and then only years later are her ashes brought to his grave, and that's when they're together. So I think because that man has seen his mother's story and Violet has read the diary entries, you almost get the sense that they don't want that to happen to them, and then they have this beautiful happy ever after. And you feel like, I felt like a weight off my shoulders. She's in the seat where she feels that she's most connected with her daughter. Sorry, there is a truck going by. I got the sense that Violet would have been happy to just be in the sea, and that's the final scene. Connected to her daughter, she's got her best mate, her husband, Philippe, worst man in the world, finally dead. She's got a future ahead, and I think it's just a nice rounding it off touch that that guy then comes back, and you can see that in her future she's gonna have this other little family unit that's so full of like hope and love, but doesn't undermine her daughter or everything that she's been through. Also, I want to get a garden. The end.